Welcome to the Small Business Sisterhood podcast. I'm your host, Pepper Makepeace, an online business strategist for female solopreneurs and side hustlers, and founder of the Small Business Sisterhood, an online membership community serving small business owners in the first stages of business. Join me as I go behind the scenes with female entrepreneurs, revealing the struggles, strategies, and inspiring stories of these amazing women. If you're interested in connecting with like-minded women, learning effective business strategies from the experts, and being a part of a mastermind group that helps you grow your business, check us out at smallbusinesssisterhood.com. Today we're talking to Tali Thomason, a mindful life coach, marketing maven, and licensed facilitator of the Right Brain business plan. Tali has a passion for helping people co-create their big, beautiful, brilliant life using her intuition, love for listening, empathy, yogic learning, comfort in nature, and direct communication. She also has an affinity for WordPress websites, social media, strategic content, and making her clients' branding dreams come true. Thank you so much for being here, Tali. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thank you, Pepper.
Tell us a little bit about you and your business and how you got started.
Hey, definitely. I got started a long time ago as an event planner. That was kind of what I started with right out of college, which was like in 2000. I got tired of the long hours that go into event planning and just the unpredictability, and I was ready for something a little more stable. So I went to work in the marketing department for online event registration software company, and I realized that between my degree in communications and public relations and my prior experience, I really enjoyed working in marketing. And then in 2008, my dad needed help with his auto repair business, oddly enough. He really needed help with marketing and with organizational systems and structure. So I came to work with him. And one of the perks of working with him was to get to take private yoga lessons once a week. I got into yoga pretty consistently then because I had a really amazing teacher. And I realized that it was really making some big, huge changes in my life. And so then I decided to go to yoga teacher training because that's what you do, I guess. And I then was really helping my fellow trainees kind of learn about how to promote themselves. And my instructor actually offered me an opportunity to speak to the group about marketing and how to market yourself in a mindful way with good intention versus trying to fit this really counterintuitive kind of salesy kind of talking about yourself way all the time, and how to use social media, how to develop website. And then I became kind of the person on her staff to do that module for all of her teacher training programs. And so from there, people were asking me, can you help me with my website? Can you help me, with my social media presence? So that just kind of it developed on its own, started out as, helping friends, and then that grew. And then I kind of moved into life coaching because I had a series of some really big challenges in my life, but also handled them very easily using my intuition and just using strong organizational systems. And a lot of friends were like, I could just use some help, like getting through this or getting through that. And so I took a yoga life coaching certification, and I had taken a break from doing any of the marketing work and any of the websites and any of that work because I had a baby. And then she got old enough that I was like, you know what, I really want to get back into doing this more and not just working with the existing clients I had, keeping their stuff going, but also starting to work with new clients and engaging with new people. So that took me to up until, around January 2016, where I really started to make a really concerted effort, and I did my coaching certification and really started to fine-tune exactly who it was that I wanted to work with and what I wanted to do.
What an organic process. I love that it just kind of evolved on its own.
Thank you. Me too. And that's why it feels so good, doing what that I do, because I never felt like I was trying to do something or be something that I wasn't, or work with people that I wasn't, interested in working with. I've always had really good opportunity to build relationships and to also just to build my skill set really organically, going from doing a basic, blogger site back when Blogger was really popular to really mastering WordPress and Photoshop as a way to add logo and brand design for my clients as well.
Yeah. What is your focus right now mainly? I know you do some life coaching and you do some website and you still do the branding. Is that correct?
Yes. I specialize in working with women who I consider to be emerging entrepreneurs. So either solopreneurs who are working alone or small business owners who are ready to quit doing the DIY method of doing things. Like they either just don't have the desire, time, skill set, what have you, to get their online presence and branding presence to the level that it needs to be. So I work with them on that. And then I also, along this process, became a licensed facilitator for the Right Brain Business Plan, which is an amazing way to really give bones to your business and to learn about your own genuine and intuitive way to grow, based on who your right target audience is, what your offerings are. And a lot of times I find that that was one of the biggest hurdles for the people I was working with is they didn't know where they wanted to go and they didn't know how they wanted their business to look. So it's hard to design a website or a brand when you don't have those ducks in a row. And that's something that I was working with a lot with my life coaching clients was, I'm starting this business or I have this business and I don't know where to take it. And so completing my own Right Brain business plan and seeing the huge results and success for my business that it provided really made it a no-brainer that becoming a licensed facilitator for this program was really going to be a perfect piece of the puzzle for what it is that I offer and for who I work with.
Yeah. So business plan is a trigger word for a lot of emerging entrepreneurs. So tell me more about how that program is different from a traditional business plan.
Well, the Right Brain Business Plan, it involves a lot of visual elements. Normally, when you think about doing a business plan, you kind of think about sitting down with maybe a program like QuickBooks and looking at profit and loss, and you think about lots of numbers, lots of black and white, like having to say that, this is my mission statement. And a lot of times when you kind of work with other business planning templates or products, the idea is that you're developing this so you can seek funding for your business, which is not really what a lot of solopreneurs or small business owners are after, especially in this day and age. We're really trying to do things without going into debt. And so the Right Brain Business Plan allows for a lot of visual techniques. There's, guided visualization, there's collaging, there's a lot of really fun worksheets and just different ways to use your more creative and intuitive aspects and to be kind of all over the map and to say, okay, I'm going to work on this piece and then I'm going to work on this piece and not have it be such a linear process. But the beautiful thing is that when you are done with your Right Brain Business Plan, there is a whole opportunity then to turn that into a more linear plan if you do at some point decide that you do want to seek funding.
I love that. And I think that is so helpful for so many people because you're right. None of us are really out there to get funding at this point, at least in our realm. But it is so important and so helpful to have a plan and to have a vision for your business and then let that feed into your branding and your website and everything that you do pretty much every day. So there's so much value to having that and making that accessible to people in a way that doesn't feel all spreadsheets and projection statements.
Yes, exactly.
So powerful.
Yeah, the author of the Right Brain Business Plan book, which the workshop and the course one-on-one coaching that I do is based off of, is Jennifer Lee. And even, like you said, my process is so organic of how I got to where I am. One of the reasons I really wanted to become a facilitator for her program was because her process was so organic. She was doing I think it was like a painting a day challenge one year and realized, well, I need to do a business plan. Why don't I make the painting a day challenge, like make my business plan this way? And so it's really cool to be involved with, somebody who has so generously shared her work and, allows people like me to be a facilitator for her program and to share this really amazing technique with so many people because there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that the left brain, black and white way of doing it isn't cutting it.
Yeah, absolutely. So is it like a workshop that you lead or is it like a self-study course or what does that look like?
So right now I offer two variations. One is the workshops, which I hold in Denver. I'm in the Denver area, and my next one's going to be April 1st at a beautiful yoga studio called the Home Collective in Wheatwood, which is just a little bit west of Denver. And then I also offer it for people who can't be with me or who the workshops, either don't make it for them by distance or timeline, as a one-on-one coaching program. And so it starts out with either an in-person or Skype meeting, and then it's an 8-week-long coached program helping them get through the process, because sometimes that's what we really need if we're not getting it done on our own.
Yeah. Can you talk more about the pieces that go into a business plan and how they actually support what you're doing?
Absolutely. So usually most business plans start with what is called, a mission statement, or in the Right Brain Business Plan, it's the passion and purpose statement. And so you're really looking at why you're doing what you're doing. What makes your heart sing when you're doing this work? And it's amazing because looking at it from that aspect, whether or not your business is creative or not, really allows you to really get in touch with your own intuition. And so there's, that purpose and passion statement. We also look at who your ideal customer is, how to market and get the word out. Another really important aspect is the money aspect, which people don't like to talk about. A lot of times solopreneurs and small business owners get into their businesses because they're following a passion. And that's especially true for creative types, whether they're, an event planner or a musician, or people who are more heart-centered like meditation teachers, yoga instructors. It's usually something that turns, like my passion for yoga turned into a business. That's what happens for a lot of people. So talking about money is really not fun. So the Right Brain Business Plan kind of does it in much more visual, easier to, understand and more comfortable way of dealing with it, where we look at, this is all the money that it takes to make your business happen. And this is all the money that your business is currently bringing in. And it helps not just give you kind of a profit and loss summary, but also an invitation to look at your offerings and how can you stay authentic and true, and how can you be genuine with your offerings, but also help so that you are actually able to make a living or make a certain amount of money, reach your goals. And so it's a lot of planning, but it's also a lot of action stuff. This is where we want to be, and this is how we're going to get there.
So the first piece that you mentioned was the passion and purpose statement. Is that right? In your experience working with a variety of different businesses, when it's like a product-based business or even like a multi-level marketing type business like LuLaRoe or essential oils or whatever, what does that passion and purpose statement generally look like for businesses of that structure?
For people who are doing products, whether or not they're products of their own or products, like you said, in a multi-level marketing company, a lot of times it relates back to that individual, because genuinely, if it's something like LuLaRoe, which is, a wonderful, really comfortable women's clothing line that's suitable for so many people, the consultants, the ones that I know and that I'm friends with, usually don't say, well, I got into this because I want to make a lot of money selling clothes. Or same thing with, essential oils. There's so many essential oil brands and MLM companies and off-the-shelf companies. People generally aren't like, well, this is going to be my way to rake in a bunch of money. It's these oils have changed my quality of life, or these clothes for me make me feel beautiful. And I see that, my friends, whether or not they're a size 2 or a size 18, feel beautiful. And I want to share that experience with people. So usually those passion statements, the passion and purpose statement, it would be something like, I have a passion for seeing women glow when they feel comfortable in their own skin. And the way that I help them achieve that is by bringing them LuLaRoe clothing, or, something like that.
Yeah. Well, that is such a powerful process, it sounds like, because that really makes other conversations, like sales conversations or promoting, feel differently, because they have kind of tuned into that emotional aspect of why they're doing what they're doing. And it seems like an easier process. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because, it's like sometimes we get to hurdles, right? Where we're like, why am I doing this? Especially like those of us who are maintaining, either a full-time job and owning our own business. Sometimes you're like, oh, why am I even doing this? And when it's something that you have handcrafted, this emotional and really heart-centered purpose statement versus this is my mission in the world, but this is my passion and why I'm here. It really helps us remember why we're doing what we're doing. And then it also allows us to say, is this in alignment with my passion statement, or am I just adding something on because I think I should be doing it? It helps us really stay clear on where we came from and on the path that we're on and where we want to get to.
I love that. So powerful. There's so many aspects to that can really help you grow your business, but also kind of enjoy that process of growing your business so that it doesn't feel so painful, because it is a hard process to grow a business and there are hurdles. But I would imagine that, for myself, tapping into that emotional aspect of why we do what we do is really helpful, even if it's product based, even if it's, lifestyle based. Like, I think that it's such a powerful thing to do. It's almost party time, ladies. We are launching the membership site for the Small Business Sisterhood, and I am so excited. To celebrate, we are having a free live workshop on February 25th and 26th called the Essential Business Framework for Online Success. Join these amazing expert sisterpreneurs live as they share tools and systems to help you build a strong foundation for your business. I'm also going to be giving a tour of the new Sisterhood membership site and answer any questions you may have. The Sisterhood is an online gathering place for community, strategy, and getting shit done in your business. So come check it out. Plus, we're going to have giveaways and swag bags and all kinds of free stuff. So hop on over to smallbusinesssisterhood.com/launch and check out this free event.
One thing I really love is that there's so many formulaic business plans and structures that you can get that say, okay, if you're not growing, there's no point. Whereas the Right Brain business plan can say, okay, you know what? You may only want to grow your business to a certain point, and you get to define that because this is your plan and you're making it. And, you may say, I, never want to grow to the point that I'm going to need employees. I always want to be a solopreneur. And now I know from doing the plan, this is my capacity. This is, these are the amount of clients I can take on. This is the amount of product I can produce. And it helps us realize the success and milestones are not equated to other people's standards. It's how does success feel for you. Right. That's really powerful to me.
It is really powerful. And I've actually experienced moments in that where I was presented with a partnership opportunity with somebody, and their goal was to basically expand nationwide with this kind of online group. At the time I was doing web design, and the partnership opportunity was to really get a ton of clients and to get all this stuff. And I was like, that doesn't really fit in with what I want to do at all. I don't want to be insane with clients, and that's not how I want to work. And it helped me make a decision because I knew that about how I felt about my business and how I wanted to work. And that took a lot of work to get to that place. So it's such a powerful process.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You hit on one of the key points. And that's how, when I realized that the Right Brain business plan had been so successful for me, was the ability to say, no, this is not for me. I ended up declining working with a couple of different people last year, or, severing relationships that were no longer serving for me, and that I knew was not going to be the best client partnership that I could have, or the best vendor partnership I could have anymore. But to do it in a really authentic and true way, to be able to say, no, this isn't going to work. And, I appreciate the opportunity with thank you, and to still maintain relationships and, or friendships or what have you, but to also the ability to say, no, thank you. And that's something that is really important and really amazing when you can get to that point where you can say thank you, but no.
Yeah, so powerful. And I don't know, I'm just reminded of the times in my business where I was forced to do that because I hadn't yet. And it was a lot more painful in the beginning when I hadn't actually sat down and thought through that process of how I want my business to look, and not being able to say no, and then getting into stuff that really I didn't want to be part of. And suddenly you're in it and it's hard to get out of it once you're in it.
Yeah, it's a lot of self-sabotage too, because sometimes, then we get to the point where instead of being able to back out with grace, and, to be able to clearly say this is not in alignment for me, we end up, maybe sabotaging ourselves or sabotaging the relationship to break free.
Right.
And so, which isn't good for our hearts. It's not good for our integrity. And, either, we end up breaking away in a less than gracious way, or we stew on it. And, it gets to the point where just doing the work that you're doing in that particular situation just feels toxic. Yeah. And so the Right Brain Business Plan definitely empowers us to avoid that type of behavior by creating this amazing, empowering foundation from the get-go.
Yeah. Well, and the ability to evaluate things even on a day-to-day basis, not necessarily like just partnerships, but even like your own activities of, how are you spending your time, and are you really doing this because you feel it will serve your business, or are you doing it because that's like the latest thing that everybody seems to be doing and you've just hopped on the bandwagon and you think you're supposed to do it too, even though you don't really want to?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So evaluating like your time, I would think that would really feed into time management and how your ability to accomplish things in your business too.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the great things about once you actually have a plan in place is that, okay, I have an hour here that I've allocated for my business, and you have a set list of things that you can go to and do at any given time. And that is really great for people who are solopreneurs or who do work from home, because sometimes when you get that precious hour, do you spend time moving papers around on your desk or,
Facebook.
Opening, Facebook, exactly. Maybe your office is near your laundry room and it's like, oh, I'm just going to throw in some laundry, and then your hour's up, right? So working within, this aspect of having your plan together, it allows you to kind of always be like, okay, these are tasks that I can do right now that are going to help move me forward, or that are at least going to sustain what I've been doing. And maybe it's something silly like entering receipts into your profit and loss management software, or a spreadsheet, or, an old ledger book, however you do it. But, to be able to say, okay, I'm going to get this done, and I'm going to get it done even though I don't love doing this task, because I know I love knowing where my business is at financially, because that makes me make smarter decisions moving forward. So it's really great in that sense. And that's the other thing I really love about working with Jennifer Lee's content, is that it's not just about, okay, your business plan's done, have fun. It's, ongoing, like these are your quarterly check-ins that you do. Yeah. And she has a follow-up book that's creating a sustainable business using right brain methods. And so it gives back as much as you put into it, for sure.
I love that. And I didn't realize she had those ongoing aspects, but I think that's so brilliant because, it typically is kind of a set it and forget it, and then you just kind of do whatever, and then you don't check in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, for me, it's like, I feel like it's essential to do a new business plan every year. I do my quarterly check-ins, and then, just to go through the process, and it's, quicker each time. Yeah. But to go through that process, or to say, okay, I know this whole area at least needs to be tweaked. Right. It's, it makes a big difference when you have a path to follow, and it's not boring. It's exciting to do.
Yeah, totally. Well, in my work with clients, like one of the main issues, I love to do, goal setting and planning and that kind of stuff, but action is so important too. And I find that when I first get a new client, one of the first things that comes out is I don't know what to do. Like when I have that hour, I don't know what to do. There's so much to do. I'm overwhelmed, and I don't know even how to get started. And so I think that planning piece, but that also that follow-up check-in piece is so powerful, and so can have a profound impact on your success.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's where a lot of people are like, okay, I've got a business plan, now what? Right. Whereas, Jennifer focuses, she calls this section where the rubber meets the road. And this, that's your action plan. That's where you start saying, okay, I know what my goals are. I know what my intentions are. I know what my offerings are. I know who I'm offering it to, and this is how I'm going to establish my plan to get my offering or my product or my services in front of the right people, and to make these relationships and transactions happen.
Yeah. So people out there listening, and I'm sure by now they're on board with, yes, I need a plan. What would you suggest as like the first thing for them to sit down and do?
The first thing absolutely is to figure out where you want to be in the future. And in my life coaching, we do a 30-year plan, but you don't have to, you don't have to go that far out though, right? Because that is a long time. But you could do, look at, say, where you want to be in 5 years or 2 years or 1 year. And there's a beautiful guided visualization that's part of the workshop, but it's also available, I believe, on Jennifer's website still that you can listen to. And it's to talk a lot about, visualizing what your business space looks like. What does your desk look like, or your studio, or your workshop, or your laptop, or, and to really get a sense of where you want to be in that set time period. And then as part of with my life coaching, especially, I like to go beyond that workspace and not just what does that look like, but, how many hours a day am I working? When I wake up, how am I feeling? What am I doing with my family or my friends? What does success feel like for me to get there, say 5 years from now? And if I could say, okay, 5 years from now, perhaps, my family and I are living in a cottage by the seaside. And we're able to have my daughter in a school that she loves, and we're able to take this many vacations a year, and this is where we travel, and this is how we spend our time together, and then this is what my work feels like. And then to back it up and to say, okay, that's where we would like to be in 5 years. So where do I need to be in 4 years to get there? And where do I need to be in 3 years to get there, in 2 years, in 1 year, in 6 months? And it's really kind of like reverse engineering your dream life and your brilliant business.
I love that. And that is totally actionable. And it's fun action too, because I think that process of really getting clear about what you want can be really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's great is you can have this play out however you want. Right. In the Right Brain Business Plan, both in the workshops and the coaching, we do collages, but you could, if you're a musician, write a song about what that feels like. If you like to knit, you can knit a scarf about what that feels like. If you're, somebody who draws or does digital art or makes jewelry, any of these things. You could, if you're a chef, make your dream meal about what that would feel like. If you're, a yoga instructor, you could design a sequence about what that would feel like to live in that dream space. There's so many ways that you can make it your own. Yeah. But, and even if you are a left brain person who's just trying to add more creativity, you can certainly, outline everything and do it in a more linear fashion still. If you're a writer, you could write a short story about it.
Love it. There's so many ways to just make it your own. I think that's really fantastic. Thank you for the tips and the action steps to get us started with the business plan. When you first started your business, did you do that right away, or was it a process?
No, it was a process for sure. I was one of those people who kept trying to do it the left brain only way. And, I would be like, okay, well, I know what my target audience is, and I know what my offerings are and what my expenses are, and I have an idea of what I do in the world, but I wasn't really able to place all of those into one cohesive space until I really discovered the right brain method. But one thing I want to be really clear on is I am not necessarily a completely right brain person. I love sewing, I love knitting, I love doing my website design, I like doing collage art, but I'm also very heavily left-brained, kind of linear, organized person. So this process was still really helpful for me, being somebody who I feel is a really strong left brain, right brain kind of hybrid thinker. It kind of took all the left brain details, but appealed to my right brain kind of way of organizing it and putting it all together. And so this process is great, if you are left brain and want to be more creative, or if you're right brain and need to have more structure, it fits for everybody. And that's what it took for me, was to, have those kind of number-oriented, somewhat dull details and to really see them in a heart-centered way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like a more balanced approach to business, and it keeps it heart-centered, like you said, but still practical and measurable. It's a lot more balance and incorporating both aspects of it. So I really like that.
Yeah.
So in your first year of business, was there anything really challenging or surprising to you?
I consider kind of my first year of business really to have been 2016. 2014, because that's when I really launched this business with the intention that for it to really be a business, and instead of just being something I kind of freelance did on the side. So the biggest challenge for me is that I'm still working for my dad. I've cut back my hours, but I'm still managing that aspect of his business, helping with his bookkeeping and his marketing and customer relations. And then I also have a husband and a daughter, and I have a little girl who's, 2 3/4 right now, and she needs still a lot of my love and attention. And so I really had to take all of my organizational prowess and whip it all into shape and really, this is why doing business plan and having the life coaching experience and practices that I have, as well as my yoga practice, has been so important to me, because when I've got time, I get stuff done. Yeah. And so that's really been my biggest challenge, is to not, like I said, taking that hour and spinning my wheels and ending up doing laundry because I don't know where to focus on. When I make time to do my work, I know exactly what I need to get done in that time period. I have a realistic idea of how much I can get done in a certain period of time, versus before I'd be like, oh, well, I'm just going to work until this is done, and then find out that was 3 hours worth of work I thought I was going to wrap up in one. So really just applying all of my skill set, and also, again, that freedom that I found to say, I don't want to do a proposal for this website. This is not something that I feel is an alignment for me to work on. And then, of course, the fear that comes along with that, because you're like, oh, well, if I turn down this website, am I sending this message to the universe that I don't want any more work? Right. But, and so being really clear, when you say, okay, when I'm sending my messages and when I'm defining that information for myself, I don't want to do this particular website or work on this relationship. And then I set really key reasons why. And so ultimately, whether or not it's, a functionality issue, or that the person maybe doesn't have everything in a row to be ready to work on a site together, or what have you, say, these are the reasons that I don't want to take on this particular task, because I want to leave room to work with this type of person. And having that target audience profile, or, the target project kind of profile, be able to say, because I want room to work with these types of people, and I want room to do this type of work. It's really paid off. Yeah.
Did it take you a while to get there? Or I know a lot of side hustlers that have families and jobs, and I think that time management piece is really kind of a difficult ongoing challenge. And it sounds lovely the way that you've figured that out, but did you come out of the womb knowing how to do that?
No, absolutely not. And especially because my husband and I are celebrating our we got married in 2014, third year wedding anniversary this April. We had quite the whirlwind. We were together, we met in 2012. And at that time, I was working full time. I was teaching 5 yoga classes a week, and I was working with clients. And so I went from basically, working all day, going and teaching yoga, having a little dinner, and then working the rest of the night, with my Netflix and, and chilling out, to meeting the love of my life unexpectedly, and to getting engaged after being together for a year, and then 2 months after we got engaged, finding out we were also having a baby, and going through a lot that really was a complete 180 from the life that I had prior to meeting my husband and to becoming a mom. And so there were definitely times where I was like, gosh, I remember before, when it was just me, I could come home from work and I could work for 5 hours at night, or go to bed at 1 or 2 in the morning, and it didn't matter because it was just me. Right. And, then also having to reconcile those feelings, because it's not like, any part of me was like, well, if I wasn't married or if I wasn't a mom, I could do this, because being a mom and being a wife is the most important thing in my life. And it is the greatest honor of my life. But being able to say, this is who I am now. And this is, an upgrade. This is Tali 2.0. And that means that my work has to look different too. Because I have to honor these relationships that are the most important relationships in my life. And so that took a little while, but then I liken that to knowing that my body's probably never going to be the same after having my daughter. There's things that have changed about me physically that are never going to be quite what they were before. And that's fine. I came to terms with that really easily. So it's really easy when I look at it from that aspect to say things have to change. And I can't even be like, well, I used to be able to do this, but now I can do this, because I have to throw used to be able to like out the window completely. Like it doesn't matter. And so instead of trying to reinvent my processes in a way that say, well, okay, this is what I used to do, so this is how I'm going to try to bend that and make it work now. It's, this is what my life is like now. Where do I have space to build this business? And go from there. And that's allowed me to have a lot of focus and to carve space for that business and to carve that great intention time and to know that, if I were single, I could probably be working completely full time for myself right now because I would have a lot more time for networking, and doing things like that, but that my life wouldn't be nearly as fulfilling. And the reason I am growing this business is because it's the work I love doing and because it's the work that's going to allow me at some point to show my daughter when she's old enough what it's like to be a female entrepreneur. And if that's something that she wants to do, that I'm happy to, walk her through that. So when you reconcile what your intentions are for your business, when you're doing a side hustle, and maybe it is the intention to work for yourself someday because you don't like working for other people, or maybe it's the intention to only have to work part-time so that you can be home with kids from school or to be able to go on vacations a lot and, do whatever. When you understand that purpose, it makes the organizational pieces a lot more easy to manage.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's a lot of pieces to that if you don't take the time to really look at it, I think it wouldn't be as cohesive and clear how to make that work. So I love that. So I'm hesitant to ask you what your 30-year plan is, but I definitely would like to know what you were planning for this year.
For this year, my plan is to, I've already hosted one Right Brain Business Plan workshop this year, so I would like to host 2 to 3 more with the consideration that one of those may be a Right Brain Business Plan retreat.
Ooh.
So that is kind of on the books. I would like to work with, I would say, 10 to 15 life coaching clients this year. And I would like to do one website a month, as well as work with probably, anywhere from 6 to 12 branding and coaching clients.
That sounds like a really nice year.
That will be a really nice year. But then also know that my reason for that is I know what those numbers mean to me. I know what those numbers will do, and I know what kind of vacation I'll be able to take with my family in 2018 if those numbers happen. So it's all part of the piece. It's, about how can I be of service and help women entrepreneurs and women in life-changing positions to do their stuff and be of genuine service, and then how can I make that help me reach the goals that I have as well.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's not just about the money. It's more about what that money can do to support your business and help you help more people, to support your family. And, it's just a really different way to look at money when you think about the next step after having that money. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it helps you, manage your expenditures for your business too. Instead of, say, signing up for a 30-day challenge program that's $200 that you're never actually going to do the work on.
Right.
Versus buying a life coaching package when then you're going to get built-in accountability and stuff. Which one do you do? Which one is actually going to get you closer to your goals? Yeah. Or maybe it's neither one of them. And always asking that question, once you know your goals, when it comes time to spend money, is this actually going to get me closer to my goals?
Right.
Or when it's time to do work, is this the type of work that's going to get me closer to my goals and that feels in alignment with my heart and my soul?
Yeah, I love it. So you said that you have your next workshop April 1st, is that correct?
Yes. Last workshop I held, we did it on a Friday. I got some feedback from people, especially people doing the side hustle, that they really need a workshop on the weekend. So I'm going to do Saturday, April 1st. I do not make any guarantees that there will not be some type of April Fool's shenanigans that could happen. But I definitely know that we're going to have a lot of fun at the workshop.
So where can people find out about the course and about you?
My website is TaliThomason.com. That's TaliThomason.com. I'm sure you'll have the link in the show notes also.
I will, yeah.
And so you can see all the details about my offerings there. There's a page specifically for the Right Brain Business Plan. And if that's something that folks are interested in, you can learn about what you can do with that program. And so if people are in the Denver area and they want to sign up for that, then I'll have a $50 off coupon for podcast listeners. That'll be SBS Denver. So S is in small, B is in business, S is in Sisterhood Denver, and that'll be $50 off the workshop.
Awesome.
If you're not in the Denver area and you want to do the Right Brain Business Plan coaching program, then the code is just SBS, and that will be $100 off. So it's a $300 program normally for 8 weeks, and that would bring that down to $200. So either way, super affordable, and really no reason why you all shouldn't be doing your business plan.
I love it. And thank you for the generous coupons for listeners. I think that's a good motivator too. We all know that we need to do that, but sometimes we need that extra boost to get us there.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's just sitting down and doing it. And the greatest feedback that I get from people of the workshop is, of course, I wish I had done this sooner, and I wish the workshop was longer because I just wanted to keep going.
Well, and it's never too late. And you said that you redo yours every year, so it's no matter where you are in your business. And I do one every year too. I do a 5-year and a 3 and a year and a 6 months. It's really powerful to do that every year. It's been a pleasure listening and learning from you and all the tips that you have and the experience that you have. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor.
Thank you, Tali, for talking with us today. You can find out more information about Tali and a link to her website in the show notes for this episode at smallbusinesssisterhood.com/10. I hope you found this episode useful and inspiring. If you did, please pop over to iTunes and leave a review. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.